Hello and welcome back to Longleat for another edition of Junior Rangers.
This time we'll be finding out all about senses, and Oscar here will be giving us a hand. This is Junior Rangers.
This year, Longleat is supporting the Guide Dogs for the Blind Association. They train guide dogs and have been providing blind and partially sighted people with the freedom and independence that a guide dog gives for the past 77 years.
Over the year, there will be several events at Longleat supporting guide dogs, and you can all come and help. Look out for the details on the Longleat website.
Later in the show, we'll be experiencing what it would be like to lose our eyesight, and Oscar will show us how a guide dog can help overcome the problem.
Sight is one of the 5 senses humans have. But do the animals at Longleat have the same senses as us? Let's go and find out.
Most animals have the same 5 senses as people. If you watch them closely, you can see them smelling, looking, hearing, tasting and touching. But some animals' senses are very different to ours. Let's have a look at some examples.
This is Winston. He's a male white rhino. In the wild, adult rhinos don't have any predators except for man, so they don't have to keep a good lookout for danger, which is just as well, because the rhino's eyesight is not very good at all. But you can probably guess, with those big ears and that big nose, its sense of hearing and smell is much more effective than ours, so if it hears or smells anything that worries it, it just would run off into the bushes to hide. Down in old Joe's mine, the bats spend most of their time in the dark. And to help them when they are flying in the dark, they use their ears. Bats use a special sense called echolocation. Very simply, they bounce sound off an object. The echo of this sound then tells them where the object is. And this helps them when they are looking for food or trying to avoid objects while flying in the dark.
Now to look at a really strange sense, I have come over to the butterfly house. The butterfly has a long tongue called a proboscis, which they use for eating and drinking. But it doesn't taste with this. People use their tongues. But butterflies taste with their feet. So when these butterflies walk around on their food, they can actually taste what they're walking on. Imagine what it would be like for us. We would probably be more careful about where we stepped.
But what happens if we lose the use of one of our senses? With these blindfolds, we can't see anything, and we have to rely on our guide dogs to help us find our way around the obstacles. You have to put your complete trust in your guide dog, and that builds a strong bond between the dog and its owner. Now, we know we can take these blindfolds off when we've completed the obstacle course. But Lynn has been partially sighted since she was a teenager and has had a guide dog for 9 years. So how important is the guide dog in Lynn's life?
Well, without the guide dog, I wouldn't have independence and mobility.
So how has your guide dog changed your life?
Well, it's almost like it's given me a new set of eyes, really. When I got my first guide dog, because Kelty is my second one, I got the impression that my eyes were getting better, but they weren't actually getting better. It's just having the dog to see on my behalf gave me so much more confidence. It was almost like having a new pair of eyes.
Is Kelty your best friend?
Oh, absolutely. He comes everywhere with me. He comes more places with me than anybody else, so of course he's my best friend, yes.
If you were a snake, you would see and hear and smell and taste and touch in a whole new way. You might even discover that you had some super senses. Everyone knows that snakes have long forked tongues, and snakes can use them for tasting and even touching, but they use them mostly for smelling. Its tongue flicks up and down to pick up scents from the air and ground. Then the snake knows if a meal or an enemy is nearby. Some snakes have a very special sense. They can see heat. They have heat-sensitive pits below their eyes, which can see the heat given off by the bodies of their prey. To show how this works, we have asked for some help from the Fire Brigade, and they've brought along a special camera that sees heat. The Fire Brigade use it for rescuing people from smoke-filled buildings, but we are going to see if we can track down Annie, who's hiding in the bushes. Now, we can't see Annie, but using this camera, we should be able to see the heat given off by her body.
Yep.
Oh, wait. I can see that little white dot.
Look, there she is. You can see her very clearly on the camera, but you can't see her at all with your eyes. And that's how heat vision works. So, whether they're smelling with tongues or seeing with heat, snakes have some amazing ways for making sense of their world.
Check out the download page for this week's activity sheet. Just click on the green download button. And don't forget to check out the other programmes as well for more activity sheets and information on competitions, discount vouchers and special events.
So come and join us here at Longleat on May the 18th for our special event supporting guide dogs.
You can even bring your own dog along for our Paw Trek sponsored walk. You'll be able to meet some real guide dogs and some trainee puppies. You'll find the details on the events page of the Longleat website. And what's happening next time? Alicia from Gateshead has a challenge for us.
I'm really scared of spiders when I find them at home. Are there any creepy crawlies at Longleat? And are Joe and Annie scared of them?
Thank you, Alicia. Come and join us again on the 21st of May when we find out all about creepy crawlies.